Alright, listen up, because I gotta break down a story for you today that's so messed up. It's got a whole country screaming to bring back an old-school, hardcore law. And for real, this one is so brutal. Usually I give you a heads up about graphic stuff, but man, making this video today, I was straight up crying on the inside. You'll see why. I don't need likes today, I just need you to understand how twisted this world can be. To get the full picture, we gotta go to this village in Lapu-Lapu City, Philippines. This is where a 16-year-old girl named Christine Lee lived with her folks. She was the baby of the family, living in a small house in a small village. They were a middle-class, kind of poor family, just scraping by, doing whatever they could to raise their daughter right. Christine was about to graduate high school. She had her whole future mapped out, which college she wanted to hit up, what she was going to major in, what she wanted to be. On top of that, Christine was super religious. Every single Sunday, like clockwork, she'd leave the house at 4 p.m. and go to the local church to do service, help clean up, you name it. It was her weekly routine and everything was picture perfect. Her parents said she was also a huge K-pop fan, super into BTS and all that. Life was good. Then came that Sunday, March 9th, 2019. Christine wakes up and her mom's like, "Hey, let's hit the market." So they go grab some groceries, come back, and Christine chills out, catching up on some of her shows. The afternoon rolls around, and at 3:45 p.m. she tells her mom, "All right, I'm heading to the church." Her mom's like, "Cool, no problem, just be back home on time." Christine was supposed to be back around 6:45 p.m. Her mom gets to work in the kitchen, getting dinner ready for Christine's dad, who was on his way home. But then 7 p.m. hits and Christine still isn't back. By 7:30, her dad's home, and her mom tells him, "Yo, Christine's not back from the church yet." He's like, "No worries, she'll be here soon." But when 8 p.m. rolled around and still no Christine, her parents started to freak out. For real, this was way past her usual time. They both rush out of the house and start asking the neighbors, "Have you seen Christine?" Everybody said no. They tried calling her phone, but it just kept ringing. No one could find her. The neighbors and her parents all agreed. It was time to call the cops. They all went down to the local police station and filed a report, telling the cops that Christine left for the church at 4 p.m. and never came home. It was 9 p.m. now, and she should have been home hours ago. The police officer was like, "All right, no problem, we'll start searching." And yeah, they started searching, but what a joke. They just poked around Christine's house and the immediate area, the same places the neighbors had already looked. No dice. All night long, Christine's mom, her neighbors, and the cops searched the village, but she was just gone. The next morning, the call came in. It was from a local farmer. He'd woken up early to go to his fields and stumbled upon a scene straight out of a horror movie. He told the cops, "You need to get over here right now. There's a dead body in my field. It's a girl." The cops called Christine's parents and rushed to the scene with a bunch of locals. When they got to that field, everyone just froze. The body they found, nobody could have expected that level of cruelty. It was a girl's body, and everyone knew deep down it was poor Christine Lee. But they could barely identify her. For one, she was naked, except for a single pair of jeans that were pulled down below her knees. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was her face. As soon as people saw her face, they couldn't even be sure if it was human. Half of her face was just gone. It was carved off, clean, like someone had sliced a piece of pizza right off her skull. The cops were baffled. Who the hell does something like that? They brought her parents over. Based on the jeans and her hands and feet, they confirmed it was her. "Yeah, those are Christine's clothes. That's her," they said in total shock. "But her face. How could anyone do this? We can't believe this is our daughter." The community was already on edge, but when the first post-mortem report came out, all hell broke loose. It said that not only was her face carved off with precision, but acid had been poured all over her head. The killer had literally peeled her face back and dumped acid inside. Her brain was fried. The skin on her jaw, her cheeks, all of it was burned away. And that's not all. He hadn't stopped there. Her throat was slit with a sharp weapon, then torn open by hand, and a bunch of her internal organs were missing. When people heard this, they lost it. Pure rage. How could someone be so heartless, so demonic? People had seen murders before, but this was something else entirely. Now check this out. To try and calm the public down, the doctors put in the report that she wasn't raped. They thought maybe it was for some satanic ritual, or that the killer was just high on some heavy-duty drugs. But that lie didn't work. The news spread like wildfire and people took to the streets, demanding justice for a 16-year-old girl. The government had to step in. They put up a 2 million peso reward for any information, but that just made things worse. A bunch of people started coming forward, trying to cash in, pointing fingers at random people with zero proof. The cops would haul these guys in, but they all had solid alibis. The government, seeing this mess, handed the case over to the NBI, their top investigators. The NBI took it seriously. They started scanning every piece of CCTV footage they could find. First, they checked the church. Sure enough, the logbook showed Christine signed in and then signed out around 6:15 p.m., way earlier than her usual 7 p.m. Why? Nobody knew. Then, they found it. Footage of Christine walking down a road. But she wasn't alone. There was a guy with her, but you could only see his body from behind. His face was hidden. People recognized Christine, but nobody knew who the dude was. It was the last time anyone saw poor Christine alive. The NBI started digging through old cases, looking for anyone capable of this. They found a guy named Jonas, who'd actually committed a murder years ago in the same city and had just gotten out of jail. They brought him in, grilled him hard, but he kept saying, "It wasn't me. Go ask my boss." The cops went to his boss, who confirmed it. "Yeah, Jonas was with me all day on March 9th. He even crashed at my place that night." With a rock-solid alibi, they had to let him go. Next, the cops talked to Christine's parents again, trying to get her life story. They said, "We don't know everything, but she was always on her phone, loved her K-pop shows. Maybe you'll find something there." So the cops dive into her phone records and find a number belonging to a guy named John, Christine's ex-boyfriend. They had just broken up. The cops immediately thought, revenge. They raided John's house, dragged him to the station and started questioning him. John swore up and down he was at home all day and that his family and neighbors could back him up. But the cops weren't listening. They were under insane pressure from the media and the government to close the case. So, with zero evidence, they charged John with murder and threw his case in front of a court. But John's parents and the public weren't buying it. People were pissed, thinking the cops just railroaded an innocent kid to get the heat off them. The public pressure got so intense that the court had to back down, drop all charges against John, and let him go. Christine's parents were back to square one, totally clueless. Then came April 2nd, 2019. The case took another dark turn. They exhumed Christine's body for a second autopsy, and this time the truth came out.
Not only was Christine murdered, she had been repeatedly and brutally raped. The killer had used a sharp weapon on her private parts, twisting it inside her, causing massive internal bleeding. People lost their minds. The protests weren't just against the government anymore. People were ready to riot. The cops were literally afraid to leave their own station, scared a mob would come for them. And here is the most gut-wrenching part of all. The doctors confirmed that poor Christine was alive when all of this was happening. She was alive when her face was being cut off. Just try to imagine the pain she must have been in. Fast forward to April 21st, 2019. A dude named Ronito gets busted for robbing a shop in broad daylight. The shopkeeper saw him, screamed, and locals tackled him until the cops came. They bring this thief, Ronito, to the station for questioning. He admits he's been stealing for a while. The cops start grilling him, and on April 22nd, he tells them something that leaves them speechless. He confesses. He killed Christine Lee, and he tells them the whole story. Back in February 2019, after Christine broke up with John, she was feeling super lonely. She was scrolling through Facebook when a friend request popped up from a guy named Renato Diaz. She checked his profile, saw a picture of a good-looking guy around 23 or 24, and thought, why not? She accepted. Instantly, Renato starts messaging her. They hit it off. They were talking all day, every day. Christine was lonely, and this guy was saying all the right things. They sent each other pictures, made plans to meet up. They decided to meet on March 9th, outside the church, after she was done with her service. So, on that day, Christine leaves the church around 6 p.m., pulls out her phone and messages, "Ronito, I'm outside. Where are you?" She gets a message back, "I'm here too." She looks around, and suddenly, a 43-year-old man she's never seen before waves at her. She's super confused, thinking, "I'm here to meet Ronito. Who's this old dude waving at me?" The man walks up to her, holds out his hand and says, "Hi." She refuses to shake his hand. He then says the words that turned her world upside down. "I'm Ronito Diaz. I'm the one you've been talking to." Christine was completely stunned. "No way," she said. "The guy I'm talking to is 23. You." The man was, of course, Ronito. The same petty thief the cops had in custody. He had catfished her, creating a fake profile and playing with her feelings for weeks. Christine, freaked out, turned around and started walking home. But Ronito wouldn't give up. He followed her, begging her to understand, telling her his feelings were real, even if the profile was fake. That's the guy in the CCTV footage. He was a 43-year-old married man with kids and a serious drug problem. He was high when he went to meet her. As they argued, he lost his damn mind. High on whatever he'd taken, he dragged Christine through a narrow alley into that field. There, he raped her, stabbed her over 20 times, and committed all those unspeakable acts. After mutilating her, he got scared she'd be identified. So he went to a shop, bought acid, came back, and poured it on her head to erase any trace of who she was.
The cops couldn't believe what they were hearing. The next day, they presented him in court. They found his blood-stained clothes at his house. The case against him was a slam dunk. But on the morning of April 25, 2019, cops doing their morning cell check found Ronito dead. He had hung himself. At least, that's the official story. The whole country wanted this guy's head on a platter. So, I'll let you connect the dots on that one. This horrific story wasn't over though. The entire country rallied together, demanding the government bring back the death penalty, a law that had been banned for years. They argued that for monsters like Ronito, there was no other just punishment. And that's the heart-wrenching story of Christine Lee, a 16-year-old girl with her whole future ahead of her, who got caught in the web of a predator, all because she made one mistake. She trusted a stranger she met online. In today's world, so many crimes start on social media. You never know who you're really talking to, what their real intentions are. You can be the nicest, most trusting person in the world, but you never know what kind of demon is hiding behind that screen, waiting to show their true colors. So please, be careful out there. Never trust anyone online too quickly. This was the story of Christine Lee. If you want to talk more, my Instagram ID is in the description. I've got some photos related to the case there that I co-you and show here because of community guidelines. So hit me up over there, give me a follow. Shout out to the commenters on the last video. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.